Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is way past my bedtime on this Tuesday night, but my brain is absolutely buzzing after that latest trip to Port Charles. Grab a snack and a drink, because we need to unpack this massive Ethan Lovett bombshell. Let's just jump right into the madness. I cannot believe they are trying to play us like this. I am sitting here in the dark staring at my screen, and I am just so frustrated but also weirdly impressed, because the writers clearly think they are being so incredibly slick right now with this whole Ethan Lovett and Delilah Wilson situation. And I am just not buying what they are selling. I've been watching this show religiously since 2015. And if there is one thing I know down to my absolute core, it is that General Hospital loves a bait and switch when it comes to baby daddy drama. I know some people are loving this and already planning the baby shower for Ethan and little Phoebe. But personally, I think we are all being led down a massive red herring shaped garden path. Let's just back up for a second and look at the facts, because I feel like I'm losing my mind reading the forums right now. Everyone is screaming that Ethan is the father of Delilah's baby. And look, I get it. The show has been working overtime, practically holding up neon flashing signs to make it seem like Ethan is the dad. We finally got the confirmation that Ethan and Delilah were partners on a job they were working together. And yes, they were probably romantic partners too. I mean, did you see that photo he was holding? She was literally blowing him a kiss. You don't just keep a photo like that of a strictly platonic coworker. But just because they were sleeping together or in love does not mean he is the biological father of that child. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. Let's talk about that specific scene in the May 6th episode, because that is what completely broke this wide open for me. Ethan is standing there looking at this beautiful photo of Delilah, and he speaks to her. He says, and I quote, "I met the baby. Her name is Phoebe. I'm sorry, but the baby, if you are a man who just found out that the love of your life died on the boardwalk giving birth to your flesh and blood, you do not refer to that child as the baby to a photograph of the dead mother. You say our baby. You say my daughter." It would have been so ridiculously easy for the writers to give Ethan that one line. "I met our baby today, Delilah." Boom. Done. Paternity locked in dramatic cliffhanger achieved. The fans go wild. But they didn't do that. They deliberately chose the words, the baby. Like he has absolutely no biological paternal connection to this child whatsoever. Am I the only one who caught that? Because that phrasing changes literally everything about this storyline. So if Ethan isn't the dad, what the hell's actually going on? Because we know he cares. We know he's devastated. I have a theory, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more it makes perfect sense. I think Delilah was already pregnant when she met Ethan. I think she was running from someone terrifying the real baby daddy in Ethan, being Luke Spencer's son. With that classic Spencer hero complex stepped in to help her. They started working this job together. He developed real deep feelings for her, and he promised to protect her and her unborn child from whatever monster was chasing them. Think about the voicemails Ethan left before he knew she had met her grim fate. Let's really analyze those for a second. When he was leaving those messages, there was zero personal, desperate investment in the child. He wasn't crying into the phone saying, "Delilah, please, think of our baby. I need to know my child is safe." No, he was all business. He literally told her he couldn't help her if she didn't show up like they agreed. That is the tone of a handler. That is the tone of a protector who is frustrated that his principal isn't following the extraction plan. It is not the tone of a frantic father. And then we have that incredibly tense scene in the Quartermain living room. Oh my god. The tension in that room was thick enough to cut with a knife. You have Harrison Chase, Brooke Lynn, and Ethan all standing around discussing the late Delilah Wilson. Chase, bless his heart, his inner detective is just screaming. He flat out tells Ethan that he can't shake the feeling that Delilah had something to hide, that she was running from someone. And what does Ethan do? He deflects. But more importantly, he subtly interrogates them. He asks if any family has come forward to claim Phoebe. Everyone thought that was just Ethan trying to figure out if he could swoop in and take his kid. But flip the perspective. What if Ethan was doing a threat assessment? He wanted to know if the real father, the dangerous man Delilah was running from, had tracked the baby down to Port Charles. Ethan wasn't asking out of paternal hope. He was asking out of pure, unadulterated fear for that child's safety. Because let's be real, if Ethan is burning Delilah's photo, he is actively trying to bury evidence. Why on earth would you burn the only physical memory you have of the woman you loved? The woman who supposedly gave you a child. You burn it because keeping it is a liability. You burn it because if the wrong people find out you were connected to Delilah, they will trace that connection right back to baby Phoebe in the Quartermaine mansion. Ethan is destroying his trail to protect that little girl from the real threat. And can we talk about the wrist tattoo? I feel like I am screaming into the void about this. The show introduced this bizarre, highly specific wrist tattoo on Delilah's body, and they have completely glossed over it since. That tattoo presumably has absolutely nothing to do with Ethan Lovett. Ethan doesn't strike me as the type to be involved in whatever cult gang or secret organization brands their people with weird wrist ink. That tattoo is the key. That tattoo is the signature of the real baby daddy. And I will bet my entire life savings that whoever it belongs to is going to bring absolute hell to Port Charles when they come looking for their kid. I mean, just think about the ripple effects this is going to have. Poor Brooklyn and Chase. They are already going through absolute hell right now. Brooklyn is literally vibrating with guilt over the Route 91 car crash. She hit that guardrail, and she drove away because she had been drinking and was terrified of a breathalyzer ruining their foster chances. And now Tracy is forcing her into this massive, soul-crushing cover-up. Brooklyn is hanging on by a thread, just desperate to build a family with Chase and little Phoebe. And now they are unwittingly harboring a child who is likely being hunted by a dangerous criminal. The Quartermaine mansion is going to turn into a war zone. Remember when they tried this kind of emotional torture with the whole Bailey Louise storyline? When Brooklyn was protecting Maxie's baby from Peter August, didn't work out so peacefully then either. It feels like the writers love putting Brooklyn in the crosshairs of dangerous biological fathers. If this real dad shows up, Chase's cop instincts are going to go into overdrive, and Brooklyn might just crack under the pressure of the hit-and-run secret and the baby danger. And where does Ethan fit into all of this moving forward? Because he is playing a very dangerous game right now. He's back in town, supposedly looking for a job with Sonny Corinthos. He's offering to physically wipe Jen Sidwell off the map to avenge what happened to his mother, Holly Sutton. He is deeply embedded in Sonny's mob drama spying on Rick Lansing and Ava Jerome, trying to prove his loyalty to the Corinthos organization. But this Delilah thing is a massive, ticking time bomb of a side quest. How long can Ethan keep his connection to Delilah a secret while simultaneously working for the biggest mob boss in town? What if Jen Sidwell is somehow connected to Delilah? I know that might be a stretch, but hear me out. Sidwell is a ruthless, terrifying man who operates on a global scale. He almost killed Ethan's mother. What if the job Ethan and Delilah were working on was investigating Sidwell? What if Sidwell is the one she was running from? Or what if Sidwell's organization is the one with the wrist tattoos? The connections are right there, just waiting to be made. Ethan might have come to Port Charles thinking he was just going to avenge his mom, only to realize the man he's hunting is the same man hunting baby Phoebe. I just love the tragic romance of it all, honestly. Ethan Lovett, the rogue, the wanderer, finally finds a woman he wants to settle down with. She's pregnant, she's scared, and he promises to be her knight in shining armor. He loves her enough to claim her child as his own in his heart, even if not in blood. But he failed. She died on that boardwalk alone and injured. And now, he has to watch from the shadows, as another family raises the little girl he swore to protect, knowing that if he steps forward, he puts a target directly on her back. That is soap opera gold. That is so much better, so much richer than him just casually being the biological father. But, of course, General Hospital spoilers say Ethan is going to keep quiet about his Delilah link for now. Because of course he is. He has to. If he breathes a word of this to Sonny or Christina or Tracy, the secret will get out. And if the secret gets out, the real father will hear about it. Ethan is playing the long game. He is going to lurk in the background, keeping an eye on the Quartermaines, making sure Chase and Brooklyn are keeping Phoebe safe, all while dealing with his own grief and his vendetta against Sidwell. I just hope the writers actually follow through on this red herring and don't chicken out. Sometimes they set up these brilliant, complex mysteries and then just take the easiest, most boring way out. If Ethan is the real dad, all these clues, the baby comment, the voicemails, the burning of the photo, the unexplained tattoo will just be sloppy writing. But if I'm right, if Ethan is just the tragic protector trying to outrun a monster, then we are in for one of the best summer sweep storylines we've had in years. I'm going to need a lot more coffee to process all of this tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think. Because I feel like I am on an absolute island with this theory, but I know in my gut I am right. We have to keep our eyes on Ethan, and we definitely have to keep our eyes on that wrist tattoo. The truth is going to come out down the line, and when it does, Port Charles is not going to know what hit it. Okay? I seriously need to go to sleep now before I start connecting Delilah to Cesar Faison or something crazy. Good night, GH fam, and seriously pray for Brooklyn's sanity.